There we go. It has begun. Hello, everybody. This is the WP Builds podcast, although we're a minor cog in the bigger part because really it's all about Laura Elizabeth, who hopefully you can see on the screen. Hello, Laura.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. Hi. And she's come to tell us today about Client Portal. Actually, she's come to tell us about two things. One's a bit of a secret, but Client Portal, along with something else, some new thing, which I don't know much about, apart from having a quick scan through the web page. Just a couple of bits of housekeeping. First of all, the first one is that we've got at the top of your little chat window, it probably says chat at the moment, highlighted in a darker color, but next to it is the letters Q and A. If during this you have a a specific question that you want answered as opposed to just a bit of chit chat, then please post it into the Q&A section. So click on Q&A, type your question, and then I'll get a little notification to say that there's a question. And the other thing to say is if this whole podcast goes pear-shaped, copy and paste the URL. I've just stuck it in text edit, stick it in Notepad or something, and then you can just refresh it in a new tab. And the other thing I'm going to do is this. You come on these webinars and you get shown, like you get talked at for ages, and then right at the end they show you the deal. No, I'm going to show you all the deals now, just so that you know. Laura has very kindly offered some money off, so you now know what it is. I'll show this periodically during the thing, but you can get 25% off Client Portal, 25% off the new thing, Project Pack, and then there's some bundle deals. But should we come back to that later, Laura?
Yes, yeah, we can come back to that. There's a couple of little things I want to mention, like the bundle deal is actually $1 cheaper for the single site, so it's actually $198, not $199. Figured out I can't do a $0 discount code, but we can come back to that later. Yeah,
that's fine. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my ugly face off by turning my camera off. Laura, you might want to do the same thing, and we'll get your screen shared.
Yep.
Because we're going to do all of this from the screen.
Yes. So let me know when you can see my screen. Let me actually get it onto something that's not the webinar.
I can see your screen now. It says Help Spot.
Yes. Perfect.
How's everybody else doing with that? Barna says all good. Let's take that as a yes. It is quite narrow, I would say. There's a lot of desktop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's make this a bit bigger.
Yeah.
I kind of liked because I had this here so I could switch to it. I still haven't got the keyboard shortcuts down yet.
Command tab. That's what I do.
Cool.
All right. Let's hand it over to you. I'll interrupt if that's all right whenever there's something I feel is worthy of interruption. But for now, over you go.
Cool. So I'm just basically going to talk through Client Portal. I'm not sure how familiar different people are with it, so I'm going to start assuming you don't know what it is or who it's for or anything. Basically, Client Portal is a tool for predominantly freelancers and agencies to use with their clients. It came out of I was a freelancer for 7 years, and I really wanted some way to manage my projects that was really easy and that clients would actually use. I tried things like Basecamp and stuff, but I found it was a little bit too powerful. It was a really great tool, and I've used it in some companies where it's been really effective. But for my little freelance projects, it was just a bit much, and I found that clients weren't logging into it, and they would just email me things across and emailing me things, oh, where's this file? And I'd be like, it's in Basecamp where it's always been, but they'd want me to email it to them. So I decided to create something just for myself to use with my clients. And this is basically what it is. So basically Client Portal will store all of your project assets and any of your project information in this in an area on your website. So it'll be on your domain. And your clients can just log in at any time and find everything they need. It's a really simple concept, but I find the reason I made it was because I wanted something simple, and I found a lot of people want the same, so they want clients to be able to access things like their brief. They want them to access, maybe the proposal, maybe they want to see the contract again or anything. And it's especially good if you're like me and you use a lot of different services. So for my contract, I tend to use HelloSign. For my proposals, I would use Newsy. My prototype would be InVision, and so on. So there was all these different tools everywhere. And what frustrated me was I loved the tools because they did their job really well. But I felt like there was this kind of mishmash of different branding everywhere. And I wanted everything to feel like it was branded to me. So everything's basically collated in this portal. So you can go to the prototype, hit the prototype, and it'll go to an external website. It's pretty simple. You can, there's different kind of content pages you can have. So you can create things in Client Portal if you want. So you can see different, so this is my sort of getting started guide, which tells you how to use the portal. It talks about the weekly call, which is something that I always do with my clients. Instead of just doing calls as and when they want it, I try to set up, we're having this call once a week, and that's going to be where you get all your questions answered. And that really helps with cutting down on emails, but that's just, something that I do. So Client Portal is basically just a kind of hub for your project. And one thing that one thing my clients as well really like about it is that you can see where the project is at any stage. So if you see these green ticks, they say completed. These are the things that we've done. If you see these ones, these are the things that we're currently working on now. So maybe the client hasn't filled out their website questionnaire yet. So they can kind of come here and know that they need to do that. Once they've done that, they can just mark it as complete. And then it'll send you a notification saying your client has completed their website questionnaire. And these grayed out ones are basically things that are upcoming. And what I really love about this is a lot of clients I worked with had not really done proper website design projects before. And sometimes I was the first professional they'd hired. And they really wanted to know what deliverables they were going to get and what was coming up. And of course, we talk about it in our call, but they'd forget. So this is just a really nice way of them being able to see, okay, we're on the prototype now. Soon we're going to get this style guide, and these are going to be all the files that they need to hand over to their developer. So it's a really simple portal for you to keep all your products in. We've got a lot of people using it, and they all love the simplicity of it, and it's pretty much my favorite thing too. So that's the actual portal itself. Shall I go into?
Yeah, maybe how to set it up, and that'd be great.
Yeah. So it's pretty simple to set up. This is what it looks like in the back end. So let me just go to all projects. So you can have your list of projects here. You can also save any project as a template, which is probably how I'd recommend setting up Client Portal. So say you have a web design project, or you have a web development retainer, analytics report, consulting engagements. You have all these different offerings that you do. What I would recommend is setting all these up in Client Portal at the beginning. And then anytime you need to do a website project, you just click create new project, and everything will already be, anything reusable will already be pre-filled from there. So that makes it really easy to, sorry, were you going to say something?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, so each one of those projects that we're looking at now, which look like a WordPress custom post type, they are what we just saw you scrolling through, the little cards aligned horizontally. That's what it leads to. Okay, great.
Exactly. Yeah. So the one we were looking at was this one, HelpSpot website design. Okay. So if I sort of click into one of these, we've got a bunch of different tabs here. We've got the branding, which is, the branding is really simple because I wanted people to feel like the portals were completely branded to them. So it doesn't look like Client Portal at all. It looks like an extension from your website. So we basically have 3 colors which you can brand with. And you can add your logo, or you can add your client's logo. So if you want all of your portals to look like it's an extension of your website, you just go to the settings and you set a, kind of an overall branding for every single portal.
Right,
you put
like
your
a default,
logo in.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's going to be, if you don't want to spend too much time setting them up, that's going to be the best way to go. What I usually like to do is I usually like to actually brand it to my clients, because I feel like it gives them, it's just something really nice when they log in and they can see, oh wow, this is like my thing. It's already branded to me. And it doesn't take long, because all you have to do is have a primary color, an accent color, and then just a gray. And I usually just leave the gray the same.
Right.
So that's really easy to do. Upload a logo and it's done. And it just kind of gives them, and let me just go back to the website, and you can see, we've got the purple here, and we've got the green accent color here. And then that's it. And just changing those 3 colors, it just makes it look completely branded. So it's really easy to do, really quick.
Yep.
So simple text inputs, put your phone, your email. Again, you can set this as the global setting, so you don't have to change it every time. If you need for any reason to change it per project, maybe they have a different project manager, you can. But this will all be in the global settings too. You can have your text here. Do the visual one.
Where does that sit? Where's that general info? Oh, that's right there. Is it at the top underneath the header? Okay.
Yep. And if you don't want any text, just delete everything, and this section will go, and it will just start from here. Lovely. So we've got a few customization settings. So this would all be in project information. This is where you can show and hide different things. But the template is pretty flexible as it is. So there's not an awful lot of customization that you should need to do, which is a really good thing, because you don't want to spend ages like setting up this for every single client. You really want it to be something that's just, you can do really quickly. You could get if you have an assistant or a project manager, you can get them to do really quickly. That kind of has maximum effect with minimum time investment. So you can actually work on your project. But all these things are here. So the project status, you can show or hide this. This is these 3 boxes here. You can put in your current phase, next phase, and then a completion date. It's pretty simple stuff. We've got the call to action here, which is at the bottom. Again, you can show or hide that.
May I interrupt very briefly? Because Sarah has just asked a question which we'll end up leaving behind if I don't ask it now. Sorry, I apologize. She says, can we remove the current next phase tabs completely?
Yes. Yep. You can remove all of these. It's just this one here. So if you don't want to show those tabs, just click no. And they will, let me show you. They will go. So then they're gone. Okay,
that was the perfect answer. Excellent.
I'm going to put them back so I can. Okay. Yeah, so let me see. So the call to action section is this one right at the bottom. Again, you can hide this completely if you don't want it. I usually have the call to action maybe linking, if I have a Dropbox folder, which I want to share with them, I link to that. Or maybe if you don't want to do the weekly call and you want clients to be able to call you whenever, I would maybe link to a Calendly or something. So, schedule a call with us. Here's the Calendly link. So it's just like a neat little thing to get clients to do whatever it is that you want them to do.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
By default, all projects are private. So they go to your website and they get where's my little tab? They'll go to a login screen here. So every client goes to the same one. They log in with their username and password, and they'll get redirected to whichever portals are assigned to them. Let me see if I can remember the login, actually. Should probably tested this beforehand. No, I forgot the login. But I can't. What did it?
We'll trust you.
We'll trust you. Because
if they're on multiple projects, will they have an option to drop into one or the other?
Yes. So actually, I'm on the wrong domain. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I have Client Portal on like every website I have. So
it's a question of remembering.
Yeah. So what will happen? Yeah. This should be the right one. It's hard typing when you've got a microphone in front of your keyboard.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I see.
So if they have a few different ones, and it'll say completed or active. If it's completed, it will be because the end date for the project has passed. If it's active, it's because it hasn't passed yet. So they can just go see the different portals that are assigned to them. So by default, everything is private. You can also create a public project, which is really useful if you have like you want some kind of lead magnet or something, or you want some kind of mini course that people go through. I actually had something on one of my websites, which is kind of what inspired Client Portal, which was basically a guide to working with web designers. And so what I did was I used Client Portal as, so this was how to choose a designer. And then this would be an article about what you should look for in a portfolio, how much do designers cost, blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of like a mini book as a website. So you can go into, so if you don't want to use it as a portal, you want to use it as a portal and as some kind of information thing, you can have it just as a completely public thing where they read articles down here. So it's pretty flexible.
Okay. Yeah.
It can also be lightweight courseware, really. It can really be anything that you want it to be. It's just predominantly it's used with clients. So it's kind of one of my favorite things about it. I also use it as support docs for Client Portal.
Right.
So if you go to Client Portal, so if you go to Client Portal support, this is where you'll find, how to install Client Portal.
Oh, so you've
all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and you've got a little menu floating on the left there as well, presumably done in Client Portal again.
Yep, exactly. So the menu's there by default if you're using what's called a content page. So this is straight in Client Portal. So you can use it as support docs if even if you have a consulting business, there's probably a lot of frequently asked questions that they're going to ask you. And you could have this on your website just as a, as you can see, I've removed the 3 phases.
Yep.
My call to action is have a question that's not answered here, email us. So it's pretty flexible in terms of what you can do.
Indeed.
So I can't remember how I got onto that, but
no, it's okay.
It's the fun thing. I have a ton of tangents.
I might just stop that tangent and ask you a question, if that's all right. Mike Sale has asked, can I customize? Is there any customization to the login page, basically? Can you brand the login page?
Yep. So the login page will be branded to whatever is in your settings. So you can change the color. You can have the logo and everything. It won't. So the login page won't be branded to an individual portal, and that's because it's a kind of catch-all URL. So it's yourdomain.com/client. So you could have on your website login to your portal, and every client will go to that same URL, and then they'll log in, and then the branding will change. But yeah, you can change the branding.
So the login page is brandable, but the portal pages, once they've logged in, you can customize and have the client's branding on the portal page after login.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
That seems
So
like
the login page will be the same everywhere.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Got it, Mike. That should be okay. Great.
Cool. So if I go back to the portal, so that's all the project information. We've talked about the public project and everything you can do there. In terms of editing these little boxes that you see, let me go back to it. So these little boxes, it's pretty simple. This is phase. They're all in phases. You can have as many phases or as few phases as you like. So this is one section. So you can see this is called discovery. And we've got getting started, the brief, inspiration. You can reorder these.
So
and then
that
you just click into these.
Is the, sorry, I hate to interrupt. I do apologize. So the title there represents the title of the boxes. It's like a heading and the box. Yep. Yes. So there we go. Right. Great. So getting started, the brief and so on are those sub items underneath. What was it called again? The phase.
The phases.
Yeah. Got it. Yep. Got it. Okay.
And you can change this if you don't want it to say phase 1. You can change this text to be section 1 or, whatever you need. So editing this is really simple. It's basically just, again, text inputs, getting started. All you need to know, you can choose. We've got a pretty big icon library that you can choose from. And this is where you select the module type. So we have 3 different module types: URL, upload files, and content page. So I'll show you the difference between all of them. So the content page is what we were just looking at here, which is a text page. You can embed iframes in there, pictures, text, links, anything you need. So that's the content page. The URL is for, I think this is a URL. So I tend to use Google Docs a lot because I like the collaboration.
Yes.
the URL field. So they can find the brief. And what I really like is they can use all the great things about Google Docs, comments, and you can talk to each other and such.
Yes.
From there. And then we also have upload files. Let me think, which is an upload file? I think this one. So these are file uploads. So if you want people to just download files directly, that would be the third.
Sorry, can I see that again? That
Yep.
little URL one. Sorry, the last one. Yeah, please. Because I noticed there was. Okay, so you can upload multiple files. It's not just one, and it just takes the name of the file itself, does it, or is that customizable as well?
It takes the name of the file itself. I do want to make it customizable because I've had it a few times where I've uploaded ugly file names.
Yes.
And I wanted to make them prettier. So that's something that's, upcoming because I really want to change that.
Okay. Jean-Francois has asked a question. He's asked, the content pages, can they be customized, for example, with something like Elementor? So the content page is one of the 3 types we've just seen. Is there any customization there beyond what you've shown us with colors and so on?
So not right now. We've looked into different page builders and such. We're trying to, because we get that question a lot, and I know a lot of people use them, and I'm talking with my developer to figure out how we can make it. Elementor is a page builder, right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, cool. And I've actually been talking to some of the different page builders. I spoke with who's the other one? They've got a really cool name, I think.
Another page, but there's Beaver Builder. The big incumbents are Beaver Builder, Divi, Breezy, Elementor, and there's a whole bunch of others, but they're the
So I had a conversation with Beaver Builder about, sort of some kind of integration, but it's really early days for that, to be honest, because we found a lot of roadblocks with it. So yeah, right now you can just do what we showed you, so the text, images, iframes, and stuff like that. Okay,
great. So Mike, I think it was Mike, I'm not sure, who asked that question. So not yet is the long and short of that, but it's being looked into.
Cool. Yep, exactly. So those are the 3 different module types that we have at the minute. It's pretty flexible. The other thing, we just have little settings like, do you want to open the link in a new tab? Pretty basic. You can set these globally as well. So you can have everything yes, and then you can just change it individually if you prefer. And then we have the statuses. So what I recommend is when you start a project, most things are going to be obviously either inactive or active. And then if there's already a link or a file attached to anything that's inactive, and let me just show you what that looks like again. So these ones, the clients won't be able to click on it. So you can still have the files in there if you want to.
I understand.
But if you don't want them to access it yet, they won't be able to until you change this to active. And as soon as it is, they'll be able to click on it.
Okay. Just looking at the UI there, is it possible to, rather than go into the back end and find that drop down, is it possible to tick it off as completed via the little grayed out circular tick there? So for example, prototype at the minute is not completed. Can we tick it right there on that screen?
Yep. So
great.
You can do this yourself, or your client can. It's up to you. You can actually, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can hide these ticks completely, so only you can tick it.
Very good.
If you want the client to be able to tick it, you'll see the gray version, and hover over it, mark as complete. They'll come up with a little confirmation that's what you want to do.
Okay.
The only thing you can't do is you can't untick it, because we didn't want clients just like ticking and unticking. We put the confirmation in to kind of make sure that the client actually definitely wants to mark it as complete. Only you can mark it as active, because we wanted to give you more control than the client as to what's complete and what's not. So
is that process reversible in the UI, the WP admin UI there? That's it.
Yeah.
So you can reverse it should you need to there. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yep.
Great.
So that's basically how to, and all these modules are exactly the same. So, just fill them in. And like I say, what I really recommend is doing a template once, and try to have a lot of reusable content in there. A lot of content, I found was reusable. So the getting started guide, and stuff like that is
yes.
the questionnaires and stuff can be reusable. You can also create questionnaires if you use anything like Contact Form 7 or Gravity Forms or something. You can put a questionnaire in the content page.
Oh,
so
sure enough,
you just
there it
paste
is,
the short code in.
Yep.
And they can fill it out there. So this will be reusable. You won't have to do this every time unless your questions change every time, and stuff like that. So
that menu on the left, was it just on the page you were just on? Was that simply like an ID for further down the page? Does it just scroll to a different part on that page, or is that linking out to a completely different page?
This menu here?
Yes.
So this is the same menu that's in the project. So the getting started would link
I see. Okay.
It's just another way of accessing all the different pages when you're on a content page. So
Lovely.
You can still find.
So they're your phases that you're clicking on right now.
Yep,
I get
exactly.
it. And that's auto-populated. You don't have to manipulate that in any way. Just by generating the phases and filling them up with different content types, it will automatically fill that out for you to save you a bit of time, I'm guessing.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Okay, one other question, if that's all right. Mike, again, wants to ask about the file uploads this time. And what he's saying is, are they behind a login? What I think I'm going to interpret this for you, Mike, if that's all right. Are the file uploads just going into WP? Oh, for goodness sake, I've forgotten the name of the directory. Somebody help me out. Let's call it that, yeah. Are they just going in the media library? In other words, if you have the URL, can anybody get it? Or is it in some way hidden from view from other people?
So right now it's if you have the link, you can get the file. But the feature that we're working on right now, so we tend to release big new features every 4 to 6 weeks and then little tweaks in between. So we've just released the ability to export and import portals. So now we've done that. I've literally just been talking with my developer, and she's starting with the private file uploads today. So that will be available in a few weeks.
So Mike,
we're just trying to figure out exactly how to do it.
Yeah, well, the answer is a bit of a yes. Then I'm going to say it's like a 90-10 yes. I'd call that a yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely well, I'd say it's probably more 100% because it's like one of the most important features we need. So
well, Sari's just written the comment, private files very important. So she's in full agreement with you. So there you go.
Yep. Exactly. Great. Yeah. So for now, if there's something really confidential, we always recommend using something like something that you can either password protect or hide, like Dropbox or Google Drive with different sharing permissions. Just for now, but yeah, in a few weeks you will be able to do that in Client Portal.
Okay, so keep an eye on the change log, guys, and hopefully that one will be coming out soon. Great, that's a real good addition, I think.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Right, there is another question. Sorry to keep. I'll save that question for later. Sorry, if that's all right, and we'll let Laura carry on.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much how you set it up. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, one thing I should mention. So, adding your clients to these portals is probably the only thing I think I've missed. Basically, what you do is you will set your clients up as a user. I'm not going to go into my users, obviously. There's a little drop down, where it says role.
Yep.
There's one called CP client.
Okay.
Select that, and that will mean that you can assign them to a portal. There is a workaround if you want people who are already users on your website to be able to access Client Portal. There is a workaround to make it so different roles can use it.
Okay.
But then all you do is, I think it's in project information. Oh, because this is a public project. Let me just change this quickly so I can show you. Okay, so then you just type in your users, and you can have multiple users per portal. You just type them in, select them, and they just use their login that you've generated for them, or that they've set their password, and they can access the portal to log in. You can also password protect a portal. So if you have a lot of different people using your using your portal and you don't want to set up a new user for all of them, you can just go here, password protect it, and the login form will pretty much look, I think I closed it, will pretty much look the same as what you saw earlier. It'll just have a password field.
Okay.
So that's often easy if you have something that's not super confidential, you just want to give a lot of people one password to access it. We actually have a lot of course creators using it.
Yeah, I can see that.
I
can see that, yeah.
Yeah, so if you have an online course and, you might not want to use it for the actual courseware because you probably want something a little bit more advanced. But if you have a lot of materials like worksheets and, homework and stuff like that, you can use Client Portal to keep all that together, maybe useful links or different stuff to do with your course. And what they'll do is they'll give their cohort, so if you have like a cohort of 30 students, they'll give them all the same password and have it, in the same portal. And we've had actually a fair amount of course creators using it, so it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, that looks great. I mean, the big benefit I see of it is the fact that it's just so stripped down, if you know what I mean. It can be customized to do anything you like. It's not specific to anything. Like you said, it could become a platform for a course, or in your case, you've used it to enable people to understand how to use the plugin itself. So it's fairly lightweight, isn't it? But that's its strength. But there's quite a lot of nice features on the roadmap. That custom user feature is awesome, says Jean-Francois. The missing link for integrating tools like Project Huddle on the same site. How did I miss that field before? He's obviously a proud owner already, so that's great.
Nice.
Do excuse me, I'm about to press a button. I don't know how this is going to go, but let's see what happens. I honestly don't know if this is going to work or not. Did anybody just get a little pop-up thing happening? I've tried to make a pop-up occur.
I got it.
You got it, hooray.
I can see it, yeah.
Before we go back to any questions, should you have any for Laura, be free with your questions. She's here. You probably won't get a chance to speak to her again anytime soon. So write your questions down. But she has offered the following things. In fact, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that away, if you don't mind. Close that, ladies and gentlemen. Make that go away. And I'm going to open this instead. Laura, your screen's going to go away for a moment.
Okay.
There. That's probably easier to read, isn't it? Hopefully you're seeing that. Same little graphic, but it's got some links. So Laura has very kindly offered 25% off a single license of Client Portal, and you can see that it was that, and it now is that. And the offer code is WPB, standing for WP Builds, and you can see it there. We haven't come on to Project Pack yet. We'll do that in a moment, I'm sure. Same offer code. 25% off. And then she's also offered a bundle, which is an amalgamation of both Client Portal and Project Pack. And there's a single site option. The PP there stands for Project Pack. Bundle deal, single site Client Portal and Project Pack is $199, down from $298. I think it's $198. In fact, that's wrong. And multi-site. There you go. Anyway, you can see all that. The links that you need to click are down there. They're not real links. You have to type them out or screenshot them or something. So it's links.wpbuilds.com/client-portal and links.wpbuilds.com/project pack. And I will put that up again later. So, Laura, let me just having a quick look, see if there's any questions. Can you change, Sari says, can you change the color of those section boxes? It's probably time for you to switch your screen on again, Laura, by clicking the screen button at the top. Well, it is loading for me. It hasn't yet arrived, but there it is. I can see it now. Cool. She says, can you change the color of those section boxes? I don't know what she means by section, but I think she means those.
Is it these? Yes, you can, but this is basically the three colors that are set in your branding. So this is the purple, the main color, secondary color, and then the third color. So you can't, say if you wanted this to be red, you couldn't change this to be red without everything else that's purple changing to be red, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can change them, but it'll change everything. She
said the square boxes, and so by that I think she means those. Yes, I think she means those.
So not really, but I feel like we had someone who wanted something similar, and I think our developer managed to find a workaround for them. Not 100% sure. So
what
it's
I would
just something
say,
I'm thinking about. Is it would be a workaround for sure.
yeah,
But
sorry, I bet you can with a bit of CSS is all I would say.
yeah,
I'm sure there's,
because we do have a custom CSS box. I think it's
yes,
in the settings. So if you do want to change, I think we have a support doc with different common CSS changes that people want to make. But yeah, I think you can, but I don't want to commit too much.
Okay, yeah. The answer is yes, you can. You can always change it, but you might need to go and hack around in the CSS. But yeah, if that's tricky, then maybe that's a support request. I don't know. So yeah, there's Client Portal. Do you want to move on to this fabulous other thing, or are you happy to keep? Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next thing then. Project Pack.
Yeah, a cute name. So Project Pack it's actually, I've just released a Client Portal integration, which is exciting, which is a few days ago. So Project Pack is basically a series of templates and worksheets for freelancers. Probably easier if I go to the website to kind of show you what it is. So it's just projectpack.co. And yeah, it's pretty much templates, everything you need for the whole of your project. So one thing that we had from people is that they wanted a portal that they could just use from the get-go. So we integrated this with Client Portal, and you can have everything that you need to. So the one we've got at the minute is the web design edition. We're creating more. So the consulting edition is the one I'm now working on. We're going to have brand identity edition. We might have an SEO one. You know, there's so many different things that we can do for this. But to give you an idea of the different templates that are included, as you can see, it's kind of the same as Client Portal. We've got phase 1, planning, and it comes with all these templates down here: getting started guide, process chart, inspiration board, all the questionnaires that you need. We have the design, so the sitemap and user flow, wireframe presentation, style guide, you know, everything and all the assets. And we've got a contract in there that you can use that I've been using for many years, statement of work. It's just got basically everything you need to run a web design project. And we've created it in a lot of different types of software. That was probably the hardest part, is figuring out which software to use it in. So I'll show you a little example. This is all the packs created in Sketch. So you can see this is roughly what they look like. So pretty nice. All the content in there is real content that myself and also Brennan Dunn from WO Freelancing use with our clients. So it's kind of a collaboration with him. We've got, you know, the brief, process chart, you know, there's basically, this one takes a while to load, inspiration board, questionnaires, etc. We also have created them in Google Docs as well.
Great.
So you can, you know, so they're all the same kind of styling. If you prefer working in Google Docs, which I think is good for things like the brief. I really like putting briefs in Google Docs because I want clients to be able to change things to make sure the brief is actually, you know, correct. So we've got all that. We have and this is the files basically. We have things like the sitemap and Sketch, Adobe XD, Illustrator, Photoshop, PDF.
You have been busy.
This is, it took a really long time. And I also learned that not all software is created equal. So,
no, it really is not.
I was banging my head against the wall trying to get this stupid purple line at the top of these Google Docs. I did it, and that was like a huge achievement for me. So yeah, so we've kind of got everything, as many different pieces of software as we can. So hopefully everyone can has something that they can edit it in. And what I really like about this is we've done the same thing with Project Pack as we did with Client Portal. So for the branding, we have 3 colors. So we have the primary, the secondary, and the gray color. If I go to the sketch, you can see it a bit easier. Go to the styles. So as you can see, we have these 3 colors, which you might recognize from the portal we were just in. And what you can do is, Sketch is a really nice tool for stuff like this. So what you can do is say, this is the getting started guide, and say your brand color is, let's say it's orange. So you just change this. And then we change the line one as well to orange. Click Update Layer Style. I need to do that on both. And then you just go back and everything's orange.
Orange, hooray. Who doesn't like, oh yeah, so it is, yeah, lovely.
It's like a really easy way to brand it. And you can do things like, say you want to change your logo, you just change your logo here and it's going to change everywhere. So it's going to change there.
Okay.
It's going to change there and everything.
Oh,
we have all the illustrations as well. We're custom created, and you get the editable versions, so you can use these illustrations. I just love the illustrations.
Yes,
anyway.
Yes.
You can use the illustrations like in your project. So we've given you all the editable versions, so the vector version. So you can go in if you really want to. You can change the colors. I have no issue with people. If you want to use them on your website, that's fine. It's your stuff to do whatever you want with. And so, yeah, it's just like a really comprehensive set of documents. And what's really cool is I mentioned our latest update for Client Portal was the importing and exporting. So you can just import really easily just using the normal WordPress importer. You can import the entire Web Design Edition into Client Portal. So when you do that, it'll look like this.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's it there, is it? Okay, look at that. All of it in.
So it's been
what's really nice about that is if you're not that, I don't know, if processes are not your thing and you struggle with process and having a process that works well, then this is kind of done for you, isn't it? In a way, you've kind of given somebody the process, the steps to follow in a logical, beautiful way. Yeah, exactly. So it all, everything's basically there for you. And what a lot of people have said actually is the thing they really like about Project Pack is that it kind of gives them a baseline of what they should be doing in terms of their project. So things like the wording, maybe they wouldn't have thought about doing a process chart. So now they can create one. And this is really cool to show clients, this is basically how the project is going to run. Some people won't want this, some people will. It depends, how much you want to do, but it's all there. So you can use this as a starting point and then just tweak it to your own business. And, lovely.
Like I said, my problem, I do a lot of projects based on problems that I've had and hopefully a lot of other people have had.
Yeah.
And the big problem I had whenever I've bought templates before was the fact that the copy inside it wasn't very good. Sometimes it was lorem ipsum and sometimes it was just really lame and it didn't really make sense and you could tell not much thought had been put into it. So I had to rewrite it anyway. And my second problem was that it was really hard to edit. So things like the text sometimes would be outlined, which means you can't edit the text without recreating it. And so the two things I really wanted for this was the text to be something that I would and do use in my freelance business. And easily editable. The Google Docs version is just ridiculously easy to edit, and I love.
We have a question about that actually. Sari says, "Can we change the colors for all pages in Google Docs, like you demonstrated with Sketch just a moment ago? Is there a simple way of altering, like the purple to be orange, for example?"
Unfortunately, not. So, kind of, not for every page, but this is a header. So I'm on view only, but if I was in the actual thing, this is a header and this is a footer.
Yes.
So all you would have to do is change this here and change the purple. And we have a tutorial showing you how to change the color because it might seem like this is straightforward, but it's a bit odd to change it. It's easy. It's just the tutorial. That's
a limitation of Google Docs though, isn't it? It's it's got less customization options and each page in a Google Doc stands apart from the header and the footer, stands as a unique thing. As far as I'm aware, there is no updating it in that way.
But you will be able, so all these, you won't have to change this individually for every page, but you will have to change it for every document. So,
but still, I mean, to be fair, even if you have to go through and modify those things, the hard work isn't in that, is it? The hard work is in coming up with all of these wonderful documents and making them look beautiful. And you've already done that bit.
Yeah. Exactly. Just, take a day or something, get some coffee and just go through, and it's all good. And the good thing, if you want to change the typography, I don't think many people will, because I deliberately made the typography so it could fit with basically any website. But Google Docs has the whole title subheading thing.
Yes, you can do
change that and it will change everywhere. So
yeah, indeed. That looks fabulous, Laura. Can you just very quickly, yes, maybe that screen there. So if we can just have a look at what the Web Design Edition currently has in it.
So let me show you. So we've got the Getting Started guide, which I've shown you. This is a content page, but you can also download the PDF, because the PDF's really pretty.
It's okay if you don't want to show us every page, by the way, because I can understand that is the content that you're trying to make a business out of. So it maybe just that initial screen. There we go.
Good. Unless you can read really fast.
Somebody will.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go through the effort of doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
So we've got the brief. I put this in as a Google Doc. Like I say, I love Google Docs. Process chart, inspiration board. You can use this board, or one thing I actually like to do is I like to use something like Dropmark or Pinterest or something. Okay. You can use this board because it's kind of a pretty version. We've got the 2 questionnaires about your business and website. This is kind of cool. This is a short guide on writing your content. So we have the worksheet and the workbook. And this is because a lot of clients, in my experience at least, and I know in a lot of other people's experience, are not very good at writing content. So we have a little workbook to help them through it. And that basically tells them how to write good content and gives them some tips. And then it also gives them a nice worksheet, so they can actually, it gives them an example, and they can actually use this to break up their writing their content into bite-sized chunks and make it a little bit more manageable for them. And it will also make the content more effective for you, because the last thing you want is just like paragraphs and paragraphs of unedited text. You want something that's actually you're going to be able to make into a website. So I'm really pleased with the content, and people have found that useful. We have a cool little checklist of everything you need to kick off the project, like passwords and stuff like that. We've got the sitemap and user flow. We have a wireframe template, a web design. This is how you present your website. We've got a cool little style guide. I'll show you that briefly. So you just create this for each client, which is their website style guide.
You're so much better at this than I am.
It's stuff I love doing. So it's like, I love this project. It's so much fun. So a guide on giving effective feedback. That's another little content page. Just tells clients how to, be good with their feedback. Handover notes. This is a Google Doc. This is just something, if you're not doing the code, kind of give to developers. And it gives you little things that you might forget when you do a website project, like the favicon. I always used to forget the favicon.
Yes, until you don't see it when it's live suddenly.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of gives you a little prompt of stuff that you need to remember to do in a website project, which makes you look good. Because you remember, we've got the proposal. This stuff is more Brennan Dunn's contribution. So he has an amazing proposal that is just extremely well written and sells you very well. We've got a contract, we've got an invoice template, and then an end of project questionnaire to try to get you new business going forward, and a good testimonial.
It's amazing. There's an awful lot in there, isn't there? That's really, really good. Thank you. I'm going to quickly scan through here. Just not so much a comment, but Mike's saying this is so great. He's put "so" in capital letters. Incredible deal. Would you say that Sketch is, in inverted commas, the best tool for rebranding your brand? I think he's saying, do you like Sketch best?
For editing project packs or for just general design?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's go for editing project packs.
So the best thing about Sketch is, like I mentioned, the styles and the changing the colors and stuff.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about Sketch, which I hope they change soon, is you can only have one style per text box. So this is actually a separate text box, because you can't. So say if I wanted to understand in bold, I can do that, but it will override the text style, which is really annoying.
That is annoying.
So if you like the content as it is and you're not planning on changing much, Sketch would be the fastest way, I think, to do that. If you want to change a lot of the content, I would really recommend Google Docs. I'm actually working on an InDesign version now, which has all the branding benefits of Sketch, and actually is able to work with long form documents of Google Docs. But I know a lot of people, InDesign is a hard tool unless you're used to it to use. But I'm going to create it anyway, because I do think to be honest, I would use InDesign. That's probably what I would do, but it's a difficult tool. So Sketch or Google Docs.
Sari says she likes InDesign. Mike, a further comment. He says he's paid more for online classes, telling me I need to create these docs. He thinks this is an amazing deal. I think that's the questions gone. I think in a sense that's our webinar possibly over. What I'll say is I'll put my little offer up one more time. And whilst that's hanging around on the screen, if anybody would like to add a further question, say something quickly, because otherwise we'll send Laura on her merry way. So here's the deal. This is an offer that runs out on the 31st of January. So you've got a couple of weeks, give or take. The URLs are at the bottom. They are affiliate links, and I'd be most appreciative if you felt that there was any value in this webinar. I'd be most appreciative if you use them. I haven't got anywhere for you to click on them, so you'll have to just write them down in the old-fashioned way. And 25% off Client Portal with that offer code. 25% off the fabulous project pack, which I'm very beguiled by. And if you want to bundle them both together, there you go. If you want a single site, $199 instead of $298, and a multi-site, $349 instead of $498. So that's a big saving, $150 odd. And the coupon codes for those are WPB-bundle-1 and -2. There we go.
Yep.
Looks like a great product, says Paul. Yes, we will use your affiliate link. Oh, thank you. Sorry, that makes me very happy. I appreciate it. And Laura, I don't know that we've got any more questions, so I'll hang on.
I think I can see one from Anchen. He says, for the Client Portal version, can you upload your updated documents, or do you upload to Client Portal and then change in there? So for the PDFs, so what I would do is I would first import the portal, so all the icons and all the text is there. For the projects or the documents that are content pages, you will edit those in Client Portal if you need to edit them at all. For any PDFs that have been uploaded, you will just edit the PDF and then re-upload that one and just switch it out.
Okay. Any more? I don't think so. Okay. It's literally chucking it down with snow. I don't know if you can hear it on my microphone. Suddenly it's begun to snow. It feels like a portent. It feels like this is the moment we should end it. So I'm going to say a great big thank you for Laura coming on today. And yeah, go check it out if nothing else. Gentle reminder, I'd love to check the CSS tree. Yeah, what I meant by that, Sari, is if you're familiar with the inspector in Chrome, what you can do is you could locate the CSS class of the box, as you called it, that's unique to that one, and fiddle about with the colors, and in your styles.css of your child theme in WordPress, you could override the CSS, so to give it a particular color, perhaps a background color or something like that. Nothing more complicated than that, I'm afraid, but that was it. So Laura, I'm going to end.
You can email into support.lauraelizabeth.co. I'll paste that in there. And
yes, please do that. That would be great. And then I can get my developer to see. I'm almost certain there is a CSS thing you can put in the custom CSS. I just don't know what it is. That's fine.
At least I hope there is anyway.
Oh, there's always a way, isn't there? Where there's a will, there's a way. But there we go. That's great. Right. I'm going to say thank you very much. Support@lauraelizabeth.co is what you need. Let's knock it on the head. I'm going to stop the recording now. If I can do that.
Thank you,
there
everyone.
we go. I've stopped.